So welcome to the video. So in the previous video, I explained about the problems on single block brake. Now we will go with the double block brake shoe problems. Okay. So why you are using double block brake instead of single block brake? So when a single block brake is applied to a rolling wheel, the additional load is thrown on the shaft bearing due to the normal force. This produces bending on the shaft. So applying the force only one direction, that will create problem on the shaft bending, or this bearing will go will soon it will get wear and tear, and your shaft may get bent. So if you apply on both the sides of the brake, so the braking force is getting doubled, and also you will avoid this bending of shaft. So that's why you are using double block brake. This is the arrangement of double block brake. So now, in order to overcome this drawback, a double block brake shoe is used. Okay. Now we'll see what are the nomenclatures of double block brake. So in the double block brake, the braking action is doubled by the use of two blocks, and the two blocks may be operated practically with the same force which will operate one. Okay, if you apply only one side, simultaneously both will be used. Not going to use two levers to use. So in case of double block shoe brake, braking torque is given by Ft1 plus Ft2 into R. The single block brake only Ft into force into radius. Now you are going to add to this frictional force, two force you are going to add. That value is called braking torque. Therefore, braking forces on the two blocks. So AB is the projected bearing surface area, that is this is projected area. Then the bearing pressure is force by area. Pressure is force by area. Bearing pressure, force is normal reaction is your force, and area is the overall breadth of this bearing area. Okay. Then AB is the, we want to find out the AB width of the shoe into projected length of the shoe. So V into 2R sin theta. For using this, you can find out. You can see the diagram here. So you are having two S1, S2 here, SS, and where Ft is acting in this direction when it rotates clockwise. Ft1 is acting here, Ft2 is acting here, and R1 is acting in the opposing the S1, and Rn2 is acting in the opposing S2. Okay. So this fulcrum is placed between 40 some distance above the radius from the middle. So this may be operated by some levers. So we go the problem. The problem says like this: the double shoe brake is capable of absorbing a torque. So braking torque value is given 1400 Newton meter. The diameter of the brake drum is 350 millimeter. And the angle of contact for each shoe is 100 degree. The coefficient of friction between the brake drum is lining is 0.4. Find one spring force necessary. So P is here is called spring force S to set the brake, and width of the brake shoes, that is B, you have to find out. The bearing pressure of the lining material is not to exceed 0.3 Newton per millimeter square. So the question is given. You can see the distance is given. To take this side, this S is acting. Take the rotation as a clockwise, assume. So S is acting this side, and R1 opposes S, and the frictional force acting towards the direction of rotation of brake drum. Similarly, in the other side, S is acting this side, Rn opposes, and Ft is acting towards the rotation of drum. Okay. So the distance value is also given. So the diagram is given in the problem. So the O1 and O2 is acting at the distance of 40 from the center of the radius of the brake drum. Okay. So the R1 is acting at a distance of 200, and S is acting at a distance of a total of 450, and your angle is 100. So 2 theta is 100 here. Okay, these are the given values. So convert the value 2 theta in terms of radians 1.75. So bearing pressure is given 0.3. Is given diagram. Okay, now first question is you have to find out spring force necessary to set the brake. Okay, So now you have to find out R1, Rn1, Ft1, Rn2, Ft2, all things you have to find out. Now you can find out the 2 theta value is greater than 60 degree. You have to find out new mu dash. Okay, using the value of 4 mu sin theta by 2 theta plus 2 sin 2 theta. 4 mu sin 50 degree, that is 2 theta is 100, so theta is 50. So 2 theta, we substitute the value in terms of radians. So plus sin 2 into 50, 100 degree. Okay, so 2 theta value is 1.75, that is substituted here, 1.75 in terms of radians. Now we'll see, taking moment about fulcrum O, we'll deal first this one and we'll go with the deal this two. Fulcrum O1, S1 is acting this direction, that is anti-clockwise, and this R1 opposes S, and this Ft1 acting towards the direction of the rotation of the drum. So you write the equation like this: S into 450, so anti-clockwise. So this R1 opposes at a distance of 200 from the fulcrum, so R1 to 200, and Ft is acting towards the direction of the drum, and the distance is from the fulcrum. I want to know this much distance. So total we know this value, this is R1, radius of the brake drum R, and you know the value of 40. Okay, radius of the brake drum is 175 is given in the problem. So if you substitute this 40 from 175, so this is total of 175. You subtract 40 from 175, you will get the distance of O1 to F1. Force into perpendicular distance. So that is 175 minus 40. So total this is R1. Subtract 40, you will get the remaining value. Okay, that's what this value. So 175 minus 40. So we know the R1, F equal to mu Rn, or Rn equal to F1 by mu. Substitute the value into 200 into Ft1. So I am getting 579.4 Ft1. I'm going to substitute this R1 instead of Rn1, substituting Ft1 by mu dash. So Ft1 values I am getting 0.776 S. Similarly, you take moment to O2, similar value. You take O2, S into 450, from S to O is 450, force into perpendicular distance, and Ft2, same case. So this is total R1 is 175 minus 40. I am going to get this value alone. I want to get this only this value, this much value. So 175 minus 40 will give this value. This value will get. So this is 175 minus 40, Rn2 into 200. Okay. So convert all the values in terms of Rn. So Ft. So I am going to substitute in terms of Rn2 Ft2 by mu. 32 by mu into 200 equal to 444.Ft1. So reduce all the values, you will get at the end, finally you will get Ft2 equal to 1.454 S. So Ft1 is equal to 0.776 S. Now you know the torque capacity TB is Ft1 plus Ft2 into R, you have seen the earlier. So it is in the terms of S, 0.7766 plus 1.454 S into 175, so 390.25 S. So we get this value. So only unknown is the S here. So your S value found out is 3587 Newton. Now the next question is asked, what is the width of the brake shoes? So you have to find out B of the brake shoe. So we know the formula AB equal to B of 2R sin theta. So A is the breadth into length. The length is given. So R value you know 175, theta value you know 50. So reduce the value into 268 P millimeter square. So already we know the formula to find out Rn1. So we are having two reaction value, normal reaction Rn1 and Rn2. We have to find out which is the highest value. So Ft equal to mu Rn or Rn equal to Ft1 by mu. Already you have found out what is Ft1 and Ft2 S value you know. So from this you can find out what is Rn1 value. So FT1 is 0.776 LDF found out. You know the S value. Find out Rn value. Similarly, find out Rn2 value also. FT2 by mu dash. Now you are finding out from here Rn2 is a greater value comparing to Rn1. So I am going to use Rn2 to find out the area required. So using the highest value, find the area that will be more safer. Okay. So we are going to find out. So we know the value F equal to mu Rn, or pressure is force by area. So bearing pressure value is given 0.3. Force is highest force value Rn2. I am choosing here. AB is in terms of B is available 260 B. Now substituting the value, so only unknown is B. I can find out what is my B value. So this is a B value, and at the end towards you write the answer. So write both the S value and B value separately to get more marks. Okay, thank you.